The vast cast of Total Drama characters throughout the years have done some pretty insane things to help their chances to win that grand $1 million prize, but only a few characters have continued to act out in their real-world lives or even before they entered the competition to the point where they've acquired criminal records for said activities. And while doing the little research I needed for this video, I'm very surprised there weren't more characters that had confirmed arrest than the actual confirmed amount, considering the things these people were willing to do to others for money. So in this video, we're going over all the characters in Total Drama with confirmed criminal records, and I'll probably throw in a few other characters who I think could have gotten in trouble with the law, despite the lack of flat-out confirmation and evidence. First up, we have the most notorious criminal in the series, Duncan. Despite Duncan being a confirmed criminal who spent time in juvie right when he was introduced, we never actually got to learn why he was there. All we could really do was infer based on how he acted throughout the competition or what he would say in his confessionals, like how he would steal bikes from kids down the street.
Okay, so I used to steal them from the dweebs down the street and crash them into the school wall, but point is, this is something I know.
Even when he and the other Final Four had that whole secret sharing session, the show went out of its way to continue to keep the reason Duncan went to juvie in the dark.
Whoa, so that's what you went to juvie hall for?
Yeah.
However, if you're a Total Drama dweeb like myself, you'd know Duncan's criminal history was confirmed in a more discreet manner. Back when Total Drama Island was, airing weekly on television, sometimes in between commercial breaks, there'd be special Total Drama video messages from home for some of the contestant parents. Duncan was one of these contestants. While his parents gave their message, they listed off 3 of his crimes: a Happy New Year stunt, falsely selling his dad's toupee as a pet, and throwing a pool party in the City Hall's fountain. So these 3 charges essentially equate to public nudity, trespassing, and I guess fraud are what landed him in juvie before Total Drama even started. But to add on to this even further, in his audition tape for the show, he's seen scaling down the juvie wall and escaping the premises, so add escaping to that list too. Obviously, he's done other terrible things throughout his time on Total Drama that would normally land him in jail, but due to Chris being even more insane than Duncan is, Duncan was able to get away with it under Total Drama's protection, since it could be under the defense of just being for the game. It wasn't until Total Drama All-Stars where Duncan crossed a line that even Chris had to put his foot down. After becoming overly insecure about the world around him seeing him as too friendly, he decided to prove himself by blowing up Chris's nearby beach house with dynamite. This stunt would not only get him removed from the remainder of Total Drama All-Stars, but sent directly to a prison instead of a juvenile hall, where he would last be seen in a prison cell writing home to his parents and fearing for his life while doing so. Next we have Izzy, known for being the most unhinged character from the original cast, though oddly enough, it seems like her confirmed criminal record is less extensive than Duncan's, but the severity of her one crime was a big one. According to her, she blew up a kitchen while training with the reserves for a summer, making her 8th on the RCMP's most wanted list. The RCMP even physically showed up during her first elimination in the episode Up the Creek. Granted, it seems like she was never properly caught and was able to continue to compete in the second half of Island in parts of Action and World Tour until she was used for small cameos in Revenge of the Island and All-Stars. So maybe she struck some kind of deal with the RCMP to avoid, spending time behind bars, or the RCMP is so bad at their job, they can't catch her despite her being on national TV tons of times. At least during the Island portions, because she did say in the Action Aftermath that she uses the money she makes through selling info about other contestants to keep the RCMP off her back. I guess these guys aren't above taking bribes, huh? Now, you'd think Lindsay or Beth of all people would be the last ones to ever get in trouble with the law, but you'd be wrong. In the Total Drama Action Aftermath special, these 2 ladies went on vacation together in Paris. At one point, the 2 went to the Louvre Museum to take pictures with the Mona Lisa, where Lindsay ends up defacing it, landing the 2 of them in French prison. They were able to get out of there, but only through either Beth's prize money bailing them out, or Beth's parents selling their car to bail them out. Even then, Blanley stated they spent months over there before they were able to be freed. I can't imagine how scary it must have been for them being in a foreign country locked up. One last character I want to bring up, even though they had almost no screen time, is the escaped psycho killer with the chainsaw and hook. That guy is what I can only assume to be a murderer and escaped from prison at one point. It looks like he got caught again too, because he was seen in a prison cell when Chef was going to visit Chris before All-Stars began. Now on to the second generation cast. As far as I'm aware, Mike is the only one to have a confirmed criminal record from that group. Back when his alternate identity, Mal, was still a big issue in his life, Mal would commit a crime or crimes that would get him sent to the same juvie center as Duncan. Duncan claimed Mike was one of the scariest inmates at the facility, essentially running the entire place and getting away with it because of how scared the others were of him. Similarly to Duncan, we never really knew what exactly got Mal/Mike sent to juvie in the first place, so all I can really do is just infer what he may have done based on his behavior throughout the All-Star season, based on his love for destruction destruction of everything around him, it wouldn't surprise me if he got locked up for some kind of destruction of property or theft. However, he also has no problem assaulting others if it can further help his goals or just get some sick entertainment out of it. With that info on the table, I'd give Mal's potential crimes as assault and battery and destruction of property. Too bad we never got to figure out what exactly got him there in the first place, but it's fun to speculate. The Pakatu Island cast is weird because despite there being some clearly twisted people in there, none of them have confirmed criminal records. You'd think Max, Scarlett, or even Amy and Sugar would have something dark in their past. If anyone was the most likely to get arrested after the season ended, it would probably be Scarlett or Dave. Scarlett not only threatened to blow up the island with people on it for the prize money, but also put the remaining contestants' lives in danger while they were on their way to stop her. I'd argue this was one of, if not the most serious crime committed in any Total Drama season. So for her to have gotten off scot-free after that would be insane. Then there was Dave in the finale trying to kill Sean and Sky, just blatantly having no problems with it. I mean, Chris did give him the okay, but Chris is also a criminal, so can't really, use that as an excuse. This is something that will probably never be revisited unless Total Drama decides to do a second All-Star season with both of them in it. But with how poorly the release schedule has been handled with the reboot in different countries, and even with some countries that did get it officially, I can't help but wonder if the network execs will plead ignorance, see the viewing numbers might have been questionable, and decide not to take the reboot any further. Maybe the numbers are better than I'm thinking, but with how little hype it seems to have garnered on YouTube, I can't help but think things are in a similar boat with the official numbers too. Like Pakatu, Redonkulous Race also doesn't have any flat-out confirmed criminals, oddly enough. However, that season does seem to have lightly hinted at MacArthur having some kind of shady past before becoming a cop. At one point, she revealed her name was never MacArthur, but Valentina Escobar, followed by confessing she has a rap sheet a mile long and she's been smuggling food into different countries since she was 5. Clearly, the writers substituted fruit and vegetables in for drugs because that would obviously be way too spicy for a show like Total Drama. Her last name in particular could be a direct reference to the real-life drug lord Pablo Escobar, also known as the King of Coke and one of the wealthiest criminals in history. Clearly turned her life around in a complete 180 to go from potential criminal to cop though. Now for the reboot cast, which solely goes to Ripper. Ripper's introduction montage of how he lived his life back home showed us he had some kind of criminal activity in the past. He himself said he was arrested for defecating in a woman's purse while on a public bus, but it's possible he did some other crimes too. I doubt his crimes were too serious, to be honest. He's a bully, yeah, but he's one of those bullies that doesn't even feel real even in the context of Total Drama. And what I mean by that is the way he bullies people, he tries to be intimidating, yet nobody's really scared of him like that, the same way people were scared of Duncan or Mal. With that being the case, Ripper's crimes were probably lower scale, like either petty theft or disturbing the peace. Disturbing the peace in particular would line up with his very loud and obnoxious behavior too. Finally, the head honcho of Total Drama himself, Chris McLean. This guy is without a shred of doubt the most heinous criminal in the entire series. Chris has committed at least over a dozen crimes throughout his run as the main Total Drama host. From attempted murder, torture of children, kidnapping, animal cruelty, unsafe working conditions for his employees, and that's just scratching the surface at this point. If you'd like to watch a more extensive video on Chris's crimes, I strongly recommend this video by Switch1E, uploaded about a year ago, discussing how long Chris deserves to be in prison for everything he's done. A link to that will be in the description below of this video. Chris was able to get away with a lot too. He wasn't officially arrested until the finale of Revenge of the Island, specifically for his crime of polluting Camp Wawanakwa all season with toxic waste. There was even a point where they tried to get him earlier in the season, but he was able to evade capture by hiding evidence. Chris would spend around a year in an incredibly secure prison, very similar to the facility Hannibal Lecter was held in Silence of the Lambs. The fact that he only got sentenced to 1 year for everything he did is crazy, by the way. Actually, one of the luckiest people on the planet that he was able to evade spending the rest of his life there. It would be funny if he got arrested again in a future season, but one can dream. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like down below and subscribe for more content like this in the future. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Peace out, take care, bye-bye.